Yeah, hi, I'm Fahim. I was building this project, which is some sort of launching website, and it's a hero section we are showing, and we were trying to update the time here. Like imagine you are launching some product or some kind of services, so you would be updating the time on the website, right? Like okay, we're gonna launch it in 3 days. We're gonna launch it in 2 days. 3 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and everything. I just saw something weird. Here it's minute, it should have been in seconds. So basically I have designed the whole thing so far, and what we are going to do right now is we're going to write the JavaScript part. So I'll ask you to bear with me, I guess, if you want to, and let's get started. So I'm just going to quickly fix this up. Alright. Here I'm going to write the script part. So we have a countdown date, and it will be a new date, and we're going to start at some place, right? We just say October 20th, 2021, 2022, let's just go. And then we have okay, like the exact like October 20th, right? So we did 0000. So okay, then every second, here's what I'm thinking. So every second I'm trying to update the time, because every second I have to count the minute, I have to count the seconds, and I would also want to update it based on the values, right? So I should rather do a set intervals, I was thinking. Okay, let's see how we can do it. So I want to make sure that it happens every second, right? So I want to do a set interval, and I want to store the value of set interval inside some sort of stuff. Like it basically gives you an ID, which you can use to basically make stuff up later. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let int equals, not, I can't just say int. Let's just go with I equals set interval. Then I'm gonna have an arrow function, and I'm gonna call it in every second, which is 1000 millisecond in the case of milliseconds, I guess. Now, first of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the current time. So now and I'm gonna figure out the distance, right? And the way you do the distance is basically, you remember we had a countdown date, right? When something's gonna launch and everything. I just missed a thing. It should have been 2025, right? This is 2025, yeah. So it should be whatever the date it was in the countdown minus the current date, the current time, to be more specific. Then what I'm gonna do, I wanna figure out the distance. I wanna figure out each parameters out there, each parameter, to be honest. So I've got the days, I've got the hours, minutes, and seconds. So here's what I can do. Let days equals math dot flow. So now why math dot flow? Because I wanna round it up to nearest integer. Distance, whatever that was, divided by so it's every second is 1000 milliseconds, so 1000, every minute has 60 seconds, so times 60, uh, every hour has 60 minutes, so times 60. Then I have to do how many hours does the days have. So because the last thing is the days, right? So just gonna go with 24. So we're done. We literally got the dates, right? Okay. Now how do we figure out the hours? That hours equals same way we do math dot float, because I want to round off the value. I don't want the decimals. Let me think. So how can we go about it? So I need the distance again. Yeah. And hours. How can we do the hours? Okay. Okay. I think I'm getting some idea. So distance, we can figure out the remainder uh, by multiplying by basically uh, getting how many days we have, I guess. Then we can basically divide it. No, it's not working. Just chat GPT through it. No, I'd like to think about it. So, okay, what is really happening? Console.log distance phi 2 but I am okay. I have to do it here. Just forget about these two lines, alright? So every second we're figuring out the distance. Yeah. So where's the thing? Okay. If I do inspect, see the console. Interesting. What do we think about it? How do we think about the whole thing? So the distance it's giving, right? Is it giving that distance? So there is milliseconds involved for sure, right? So it's giving us the total millisecond amount, but we don't want it. First of all, you have to convert it into seconds, for which we have to divide it by 1000. Then, in order to do it for minutes, divide it by 1000 times 60. If I do it for minutes, then if I want to do it for hours, again divided by 60. Then for days, divided by 24. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. So how do we convert that into hours? I mean, I can take the day's value, I guess, and then just basically multiply it by 4, but that day value that we had earlier, it was the rounded up day value, so it won't really work, right? So let me just close it up. It's basically printing out bullshit right now. Okay. How do we think about it? What should be the framework for it? So I saw a solution which is something like this. The days work, I guess, but for the hours and rest of it, I saw a solution like this. You basically take the distance and you figure out the remainder of distance divided by that thing we wrote here. So I'm just gonna yank here. Fuck that shit. So what they're doing is that they're figuring out the days, not specifically days. Okay, yeah, they're taking how many millisecond is there in a day, if I'm correct, and dividing it with the distance, it will give you a remainder. Okay. Hmm. I mean, then I can just add the remainder with the days, no? Hmm. So if I do mat.float, whatever the remainder is, so basically this shit is the days. No, 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 no. It's not the corrected value. Yeah. Okay. It's a very weird framework. Okay. I've got another idea. So, what if we do something like this? Remember that we were doing this math.flow, which is like giving us some sort of rounded value. So, what if we do something like this? So, I can go like, and figure out the remainder between distance 1000 times 60 times 60 times 24. Yeah. So by dividing, yep. So I'm gonna get the remainder. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Let me think. Hmm. I'm gonna get month hours to be specific. If I just multiply with 24, does it work? Nah. Nah. You know what? Let me just chat GPT that shit out of it. So, what day is it today, by the way? July 14th, right? So let's do for uh, July 18th. Yeah. Uh, so just chat GPT the thing. Huh? So I'm just gonna copy this, except for the hours bit. Let me just keep it open, right? And tell chat to like do it for me, something like that. Yep. Okay, that doesn't work. So keep making this weird thing. Vim doesn't allow copying to clipboard basically, so I have to manually do command C. I can do command V right now, and I can basically tell chat, can you, yeah, let me just give the context, do this for me, help me understand how can I figure out our counting rate and write that part also. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, it gives you a leftover of milliseconds after removing the full days. Then you divided by that. That was the thing I wasn't getting. So you divided by minutes, that gives you the hour. Oh, that gives you the remaining hour. No, fuck. How come I couldn't understand this shit? This was so easy. Okay. Math dot flow. I'm gonna figure out the remainder between this and the whatever the milliseconds gonna be left. So 1000 times 24. So if I do the remainder, it will basically give me the how much millisecond I have left. So what I'm supposed to do with it is that I'm gonna take this thing and I'm gonna divide it by number of minutes. And the number of minutes in terms of milliseconds is gonna be 1000, not 100,000 times 60 times 60, right? Yep. That gives you the hour. Then I have minutes. Let me just spell it correct. Yeah. So for minutes, I'm gonna do similar stuff, but except I don't wanna figure out the remainder in terms of days. I want a remainder in terms of minutes. So it should be this much, and I should be dividing with seconds this time. So done. Makes sense. Last one. Okay. Here, whatever the distance is, I want to figure out the seconds. So all I've got to do is, figure out the remainder for like all the 60 seconds, I guess. Whatever the seconds were, I divided with that. It will give me the remaining seconds and remaining milliseconds, to be honest. And then, in order to convert that millisecond into second only, I just have to divide it by 1000. Wait. I don't need the brackets. Go ahead. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this should work. All I've got to do is write it down into whatever the DOM is, right? So we have this pans out there under the launch pad. Yeah. There's this p tags out there. I have to write it inside the p tag. Maybe I should give it some kind of ID or class. So hear me out. So I have a rant. I've always noticed people keep shifting between classes, IDs and everything. And I think you should never use IDs unless you wanna switch to a particular section in your HTML page. Just be consistent, So I just want things to be subconscious, right? So the more subconscious things are, according to me, the better it is. You don't want to think about stuff. You want to do as less of thinking as you can, so that you can put that energy into your coding. So yeah. And now we have seconds. Yep, done. I have to create those DOM elements, not create, but figure out all those DOM elements. Create some variables. Query selector, days, but I already have the days variable, so I'm not going to create one. So I'm just going to update the inner HTML, right? We have days, hours, minutes, seconds. We have three, yeah, three more. So I'm gonna copy three more. Days should be converted to hours, and wait, fuck is it selecting that shit? Okay, then we have minutes should be, sorry, not minutes, we already have days should be converted to minutes, I guess. Yep. Then same thing I should have in a much better way. Days should be converted to seconds. Yeah. Done. It should work, right? Where is the thing? Oh wow. Wow. Oh, we're not doing the math.float thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. So here's the math.flow. In days we're doing it, right? Wow. Can't really tell, you know. Okay. So math.flow starts here. Okay. It is wrapping up the whole thing. Is it wrapping up the whole thing? No, it isn't. So, okay. Just create another thing. Yeah, that works. Here, not the whole thing again. Okay. What's wrong with me? Yep. Should work. Yes, it does work. Okay, wow. It was fun, wasn't it? Here's what I was thinking about, you know. This, whenever it's a single digit, it does feel weird, doesn't it? So I was thinking, if we can figure out the length of that string in terms of days, right? And what we can do is that I can take that length each time we're updating in terms of intervals, and I can give it a length check. If it's like, if the inner HTML is, let's just say, a single digit, so I can just figure out why length is less than 2. I should add a 0 first, and then like append the whole thing. So yeah, let's just continue with that. So here's what I was thinking. Hours, minutes, and seconds. Everything I have to do it that way, right? So okay. There should be a much more efficient way to do it, I feel like. Days dot length. Yup. If days, no, it's in terms of numbers. We're doing math.flow. Okay. If days is less than 10, here's what I want you to do. Add 0 first, then append the days. Otherwise, you can just write days as it is. Amazing, isn't it? So let me do the same thing here. Yep. You just have to convert that thing into, okay. Days should be hours. days should be minutes. Oh, the last day wasn't. It was day I wrote. Okay. Hmm. It happens this time. Okay. It works. It works. Wow. So yeah, this is the end. As you can tell, I hope you like the video. This was my first attempt to show you guys coding live basically and showing you how the thing work. I literally figured it out in front of you, right? So from now on I would be posting every week at least, and yeah, show love. Bye. Thanks.